Good afternoon, Cross Timbers. Today is Thursday, March 22nd, 2019, and I am Haley Barnett. Updates were given on the Stephenville Sewer Project during the City Council meeting on Tuesday. Tarleton hosts its annual Leaders for Diversity Conference, and the first round of March Madness ends today. All of this and more coming up next on Texan TV. In campus news, Tarleton will be hosting the annual Leader for Diversity Conference. The conference is focused on spreading community throughout an understanding of difference. Experts in their field are brought in to speak on different diverse issues. Following the speeches, small group discussions will be held amongst Tarleton faculty, students, and staff. Topics discussed at today's Leader for Diversity will include immigration, sexual abuse, and religion. The conference will be held from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the Barry B. Thompson Student Center with a $10 admission fee. According to the Stephenville Empire Tribune, an update has been given on the East-Sided Sewer Project during the City Council meeting on Tuesday. City Councilman Alan Nix said the committee is having difficulty with the proposed alignment that they may not be able to overcome part of the project. This requires crossing landowners by property owners. Several owners have become unresponsive and uncooperative. The City Council decided to explore an alternate route that might be more costly. For state news, we turn to the Associated Press.
There are thousands of new arrivals on the southern border, waves of parents and children. Carmen Mejia and her son Leon are tired.
Sí, tiene gripe, trae gripe.
Mejia's boy is sick with a cold. The group willingly surrenders after crossing the Rio Grande from Mexico. Taking care and feeding immigrants who've crossed into the U.S. illegally has fallen almost solely in one law enforcement agency, the U.S. Border Patrol.
They don't say asylum, but they use a lot of terms. A lot of times they use, I'm scared, I fear for my life, gangs.
Near Mission, Texas, these people take their first step into the federal immigration system, signing intake forms and showing any documents that can help them declare asylum. More than 66,000 people crossed the border illegally in February, including 36,000 parents and children. That's a record high, according to the United States Border Patrol, and even more families could be coming in the spring when border crossings traditionally pick up. Eventually, these immigrants will go to the Central Processing Facility in McAllen, Texas. The AP was not allowed to film inside, but the agency says it's scrambling to keep up with the volume. The facility received worldwide attention last June during the Trump administration's enforcement of the zero-tolerance policy, which led to thousands of family separations. In the last year, 2 small children died in Border Patrol custody, leading to expanded medical screenings. Officials say this particular center is not meant for families, but that's precisely what they're handling. The average wait here is 60 hours. After release, groups typically arrive at places like the Catholic Charities Respite Center in McAllen, which too is feeling the strain of increased demand and local politics. City commissioners ordered the church to vacate the building by May after complaints from neighbors. For now, the charity provides food and medical checkups before these people move on to their next destination.
What I found is that they're not really anxious to tell somebody that they've got a fever, or they're not real anxious to tell somebody that they're having an infection or having a problem, because they don't want to detain themselves any longer than what the customary number of days is.
Dr. Martine Garza is one of the volunteers providing care to immigrants like 21-year-old Honduran Lily Romero. She gave birth to her infant son while on a bus, making the journey through Mexico.
But we know that the root of the problem is how these people don't feel safe in their own country. And
community activist Martha Sanchez says building more border wall isn't going to stop the uptick in immigration.
And as long as we don't address that issue, we want to continue to try to put patches and something that is much bigger.
Bigger crowds taxing both federal authorities and local charities. John Moan, Associated Press, McAllen, Texas.
In national news, according to the AP News, Missouri Governor Mike Parson has declared a state of emergency Thursday following the flooding from the Missouri River due to rains and snowmelt that occurred earlier in the month. The flooding has claimed 3 lives so far, while also leaving several people stranded, as well as causing damage and straining levees throughout the Midwest. Parson commented saying the rising floodwaters are affecting more communities and farms, closing more roads and threatening levees, water treatment plants, and other critical infrastructures. The state of emergency declaration will allow state agencies to work directly with the local officials responding to flooding. Parson and the state's emergency management agency director plan to meet with local leaders and survey the damage. The floodwaters so far has caused over 20 levees to break throughout Iowa, Missouri, and Nebraska. Estimates of over $500 million are already being presented to fix the levees' damage after the flooding recedes. For today's national and international news, we turn to the AP News Minute.
Residents of the Mozambican port city of Beira continue to desperately wait for aid in the aftermath of a cyclone. The city has been 90% destroyed. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo on Friday met with Lebanese Prime Minister Saad Hariri in the capital, Beirut. His visit comes amid regional condemnation of U.S. President Donald Trump's declaration that it's time the U.S. recognized Israel's sovereignty over the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights. New Zealanders observed the Muslim call to prayer Friday, reflecting on the moment 1 week ago when 50 worshippers at 2 Christchurch mosques were slain. The call to prayer was followed by 2 minutes of silence. The U.S. administration's policy of returning asylum seekers to Mexico faces scrutiny from a U.S. judge in San Francisco on Friday. I'm Ron Harris, Associated Press, with AP News Minute.
In sports news, March Madness kicked off yesterday, and there was definitely a lot of upsets. The first round will continue and end today. The NCAA is focusing on Zion Williamson, a Blue Devil freshman who won his first ACC tournament and will get to play his first game in the March Madness in his home state of South Carolina, where they will play against number 16 seed North Dakota State. For more national and international news, we turn to the Showbiz Minute.
AP Showbiz Minute. A Chicago judge is expected to rule on whether to let R. Kelly travel overseas to perform several concerts to help the cash-strapped singer pay legal and other bills as he faces sex abuse charges. A hearing Friday follows a defense motion saying the singer hopes to do up to 5 concerts in Dubai in April. He also planned to meet members of royal families in the United Arab Emirates. Game of Thrones actress Emilia Clarke revealed Thursday she's had 2 life-threatening aneurysms and 2 brain surgeries since the show began. Clarke had just finished filming her first season on the HBO fantasy series when she had the first aneurysm in 2011 at age 24 while working out at a London gym. She was suffering from serious stress when the artery burst in her brain. Donnie and Marie Osmond say they'll end their Las Vegas show later this year, concluding an 11-year run on the Strip. The brother-sister duo's final performance at the Flamingo Las Vegas is scheduled for November. This is Lizzie Knight with AP Showbiz Minute.
Now we turn to McKenna Hubert for the weather.
Good morning, Cross Timbers. Today is partly cloudy with a high of 78 and a low of 55. Tomorrow will be scattered thunderstorms with a high of 78 and a low of 60. Sunday will be cloudy with a high of 80 and a low of 54. Have a great day and weekend, Texans.
This has been a production of the Texan TV News, a product of the Texan News Service from the Tarleton State University campus in Stephenville, Texas. Watch us live on Apogee Channel 2.1 in the dorms at 12:30 weekdays. If you live off campus, tune in on Northland Cable Channel 9. You can follow Texan News Service on Facebook and Twitter, and check out our website at www.texannews.net for all of your latest local, state, national, and international news. Today's broadcast was produced by Jessica White, Avery Weatherman, McKenna Hubert, and Stephen Johnson. Have a wonderful day, Texans.